Hi, I'm Jeff, and welcome to another one of my videos where I give you the opportunity to test your comic book grading skills up against actual results from CGC. Down here, just below the frame, I've got a box that's still pretty heavy because this is just part 2 of an 8-part series that I'm going to be doing, unboxing this 25-book modern submission that I just got back from CGC. This is part 2. I unboxed the first 3 books in part 1. I highly recommend it. If you haven't checked that out already, you check that out. I'll put the card for it right up there. But in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the next 3 books that I am going to be pulling out of this box. This box is filled with X-Men themed books. I love the X-Men, so I am super excited about this submission. Now this, just so you know, I sent this submission off to CGC to get pressed at CCS and graded at CGC back in May of 2021. And they just came back to me today at the end of July 2022, about a year and 2 months later. So I have been chomping at the bit to get these books back. So what we're going to do in these videos is we are going to take a look at video that I made of these books when they were raw, before they got sent to CGC. We are going to assess the books for any flaws, any defects, anything that might affect the grade negatively. Then we are going to give our best guess as to what we think the grade will be from CGC. Then once we've done that, we will pull the next 3 books out of this box and we will take a look at the results from CGC and compare them up against our guesses. See how we did. If we came close, then we are going to celebrate our comic book grading skills. If we are way off, then we will potentially do some post-grading analysis. See if we can't work backwards and figure out why CGC gave the books the grades that they did. Okay, I am way too excited about this submission, so let's move on. We're going to take a look now at the next 3 books from the submission when it was raw, assess it, and give it our best guess as to what the grade might be. Let's do that right now. All right, first up we have the Uncanny XMen issue 221. Oh, this is a book I am super stoked about. I'm really bullish on the potential of Mr. Sinister joining the MCU and being quite a hit. In addition, this is a book that I bought off the rack when I was a kid, and I tried my best to take good care of it, and it looks like I did a pretty good job because this book looks near perfect. What you might be seeing there with the lines that are going up and down the book there, those are printing things. That is not going to impact the grade negatively. It looks like there might be color rub in the shadow of the X there next to the long shot's head. I think that's printing. That white spot next to the X there, I think that's printing. I don't think any of those things are going to impact this book negatively. All in all, this book looks really, really good. I want to remind everybody that all the books in this submission will be getting pressed. The only books that I don't press that I submit to CGC are select 9.8 pre-screens. But all of these books will get pressed just to kind of ensure that it gets the best grade possible. So that's just something I do. You don't have to if you don't want to. But I think the edge is a little bit rough there in some of these areas, especially it's more evident on the back here. You can see there along the edge. I think a press will help smooth that out and make that a little bit better. And although it looks like damage, I believe it's just from the cut, from the paper being cut. Once again, a manufacturing thing, and I don't believe that will hurt the grade at all. Granted, you know what? This might be a lot of wishful thinking on my part because I really want this book to be a 9.8, but it looks great to me, so I'm going to give it a 9.8. Next up, we have X-Men issue number 4. This is a fun book that was a hot spec book there for a minute. It's dropped off since, but I do think that Omega Red will make an appearance at some point in some big way, and I think this will be a good book to have. It's also a newsstand, as you can see there. This is a book from an era where being a newsstand book does mean something. It was rare, as long as it's in high grade, so let's hope that it is. This book looks really good. The spine looks really good. I don't see any apparent color-breaking spine ticks. That corner has a little bit of damage to it. Not too bad. I don't think it should hurt the grade too much. This edge along the top looks good. There appears to be maybe a little bit of a flaw above the end there, and then maybe in the corner as well. So I actually think that might take it out of a 9.8. Maybe they're in the black there by the thigh. So I do believe that this book will not be a 9.8 just because of those minor flaws that you saw in the upper right-hand corner of the front cover there. But let's take a look at the back. This back cover is primarily white, so any kind of foxing or dirt would show up. You see a little bit there along the edge. I think the press will help a little bit. There maybe is a slight crease there as well. I hope the press will clean that up as well. Because the rest of this book looks really, really good. I hope that the press and clean will clean that side up a little bit right there. But, you know, I'm not quite sure. I can't guarantee that all of those darker marks will get cleaned up and that crease right there on the edge isn't color breaking. Since I'm a little bit iffy, I'm going with the 9.4. And finally, we have Astonishing XMen issue number 6. This is another fun book to have. I got it for pretty cheap, and so I thought, why not submit it? It looks like it's in pretty good condition. There are some stresses there along the spine, and you can tell there's some minor color break there as well. I think the press will help that stress out a little bit, but it won't disappear them completely, and they absolutely won't get rid of those 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, maybe 5 super minor color breaking spine ticks. Now, they might be super minor, but they also are there. And so you cannot ignore them, and you have to factor that in when giving your grade. The rest of this book looks really, really good. I like to remind people that I like to take books to areas where I can bounce some light overhead. You can see the reflection of the light a little bit in the cover. That'll help show creases that are difficult to see with the naked eye. It'll show them really well. I always recommend doing that. On the back here, we have a solidly black back cover here. This is going to show any kind of damage, just like without a doubt. And so far, it looks really, really great. Possibly the lightest bit of color rub there on the edge, but I actually don't think that was color rub. This looks really, really good. But yes, there's a color breaking spine tick in there. And it's the reverse side of those minor ones you can see there. So it's definitely not a 9.8. I wanted the other one to be potentially a 9.6, but I gave it a 9.4. I think this one is probably firmly in the 9.4 category. All right, so now you've had the opportunity to take a look at the 3 books that we are going to be talking about in this video when they were raw. You've assessed them and you've given your best guess as to what you think the grade might be. I've also shared with you what I think the grade might be. In fact, I have them written down right here on this piece of paper that I made well over a year ago. So I'm really excited to see what the results are. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Now, you're ahead of me. You know what 3 books are coming next. I do not know what 3 books are coming out next because I'm pulling them out at random from one side to the other. And CGC have packed them in a random order that is not matching this list. So I have no idea currently what the next book is that's going to come out of this box. So I'm going to reach in using my peripheral vision. I'm going to feel to make sure that I pull it out. Okay, so that's the back of the book. I'm not looking. I'm going to cover up the grades and let me see what the... God, let me make sure I got that Okay, let me see what the next book is. The next book is, okay, this is X-Men 221, the first appearance of Mr. Sinister. I love this book, and I am super excited for the potential of Mr. Sinister being used in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So this is one of my favorite books, and I'm really hoping I did well on it. Now, my list is a little funky, so let me just use this ruler to make sure that I am looking at the right line. I have X-Men 221. Oh boy, I thought that this might get a 9.8. Oh my goodness, my goodness. I usually don't do that very lightly, so let's really hope that I was right about this book and that it got a 9.8. I'm going to show you first. And I'm going to take a look at myself right now. Yes! Yes! Yes, yes. Oh, I am so excited to have this book in a 9.8. Woo! That is really, really great because I really think Mr. Sinister is something special and that we're going to get him in a big way. So this is a great book to have. And this is a book that I bought when I was a kid. I bought this new when it came out at the comic book store. So for it to last all this time in my collection and still come back at 9.8, that is super, super exciting. Oh, I'm very happy about that. That is really, really great. Okay, boy, I could just take several minutes to just enjoy the success of that one. But let's go ahead and move on to the second book that we're going to be looking at today in this video. Let me make sure I have the grades covered up. Okay, so this is, oh man, they're putting in all the hits, I think. There's a lot of hits in this book, in this package here. This is X-Men issue number 4. This is the first appearance of Omega Red in a newsstand. Let me see, what did I think this grade could be? So I was pretty conservative with this one, and I'm guessing that it could be a 9.4. I'm hoping very much that I was quite wrong about the grade on this. But let's see. Is it a 9.4 or not? Let's show you first. And now let me take a look. 9.6. That is great. That is really great. Okay, so I was just a little bit off, so I'm okay with being off with my grade. But specifically with this book, let me tell you people, a lot of people like to sell you on newsstands and how much more valuable they are. Keep in mind, newsstands are only more valuable during certain years. There was a point at which newsstand was more prevalent than the direct market. At this point in comic book collecting, the newsstand was absolutely the rare one. So it's good to have for its rarity. In addition, what is so coveted about newsstands is that they were often damaged and they're very difficult to get in a high grade. So newsstands only really matter in the highest grades, 9/8 and 9/6. So this book has a significant increase in value over its counterpart, the direct edition, in a 9.6. If you see a newsstand in 9.4 or lower and someone's trying to get more money for it, don't pay for it. Only consider paying additional money for a newsstand if it is a 9.6 or a 9.8. And also depending on the year of publication. Ah, that's cool. That's very cool. Well, this is going very well for me so far. I'm very happy about that. Let's go to the third and final book that we will be looking at in this video. Let me get that out, do the old peripheral vision, covering up the grade. And this one is, oh yes, this is Astonishing XMen number 6. This is the first appearance or mention of Sword. I'm going to double check what that says in just a second after I look at the grade. But let me see what I thought the grade would be. This is Astonishing XMen number 6. I thought it was going to be a 9.4. So let's go ahead and see. Yes, I'm looking very carefully because I wrote it kind of funky. Let's go ahead and see what the grade is. Okay, did I get the 9.4 that I expected, or did I get something else? 9.6. Okay, so this is great. This is great. Both of these were just off by 1 grade increment, and I was 1 grade increment below what the actual grade was. And generally speaking, especially at this phase a year and 2 months ago, I was really trying to be conservative in my grades. When I'm trying to justify whether or not a book is worth purchasing and then submitting to CGC, I'm considering the cost of the book when it's raw, I'm considering the costs of grading and pressing. And a lot of whether or not it's going to be worth it depends on my ability to assess the grade and determine a value, and then make sure that my costs don't exceed what I expect the value to be. So I'm a little bit conservative, and that tracks here in that I had thought it was going to be a 9.4, but it turned out to be a 9.6. So this way I get a slightly better grade than I expected, and I'm very, very happy, and I'm getting more value out of grading this book than I had originally intended. All right, so that's all the books that we're going to be looking at in this video. I am having a ton of fun so far, and I have no complaints. So I hope you're having a lot of fun too and learning something as well. If you're interested in watching the remainder of the videos that I'm going to be making in this series, I highly recommend you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you're informed when I upload these videos. In addition, if you like this content, likes are appreciated by me. As always, thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.